This video is going to focus on 9.6 circles, so it'll be a little bit review about circumference of circles and how to create circle graphs using proportions. So first of all, let's review some vocabulary with circles. First of all, a radius is a segment connecting the center of the circle to the outside of the circle. So if we were to draw a radius right here, starting at the center, we could call this center O, this B, and then our radius would be segment OB. A diameter is going to be twice the radius, right? So we could start from one end, go all the way to the other. That would be a diameter. We could call this A, Z, and a chord is actually same thing as a diameter, but it does not have to go through the center. So a diameter is actually a fancy chord. We could have C, D, that would be our chord. Those are all the different parts that we're going to focus on for now. I went through that pretty quickly, so if you need to rewind the video and watch it again to make sure you know those parts, go ahead and do that right now. We're going to focus today on circumference. So remember our two formulas is circumference is pi times diameter or 2 pi times the radius. So for the first one we have the diameter, so we can do pi times diameter, which is pi times 9. Now the nice part is you could just put that into your calculator as is, pi times diameter, pi times 9. This one uses the radius, so we can use 2 pi r. 2 pi 6 is all you need to put into your calculator. Now the tricky part are these circle graphs that use angles in a circle and use degrees. So first of all, a central angle is an angle whose vertex is at the center of a circle. There are how many degrees in a circle? It turns out there are 360 degrees. A good way to remember that is when someone says you did a 360, you went all the way around in a circle, right? So we're going to make a circle graph, and we have to convert these percentages of the weekly budget into degrees in order to graph them on our circle. So what's neat about that is it's just another way to view this information, and we're going to use a proportion to do so. Now the total of all of these things should always come out to be 100% if we have the whole thing. We can create circle graphs even if we don't have percents, we just need to always calculate the total first. The total will always be the bottom number. So let's go ahead and do all our proportions on this next page. So 20%. It's 20% out of the total of 100. Remember, if we have a different total, that number goes right here. We know that it's out of 360, x out of 360. For 15, we do the same setup. 15 over the total of 100, could be 100, could be a different total if it's not a percent, is x over 360. Then we also have 25%. Now maybe you could do this without even calculating a percent because 25 is a quarter. And what is a quarter of 360? That is 90 degrees, so I'll put that in right now already. So you can see I fast forward a little bit. I have all the proportions set up, all of the degrees put in, and we actually did the cross multiplying. 20 times 360 equals 100 times x. And we divided both sides by 100. I want to remind you that every time you set up a proportion, you do part over the total, whether that total is 100 or a different number. And that is equal to x over 360. Part over total is always equal to part over total.